Hi everyone, let's look at some bar chords today. Now usually that strikes fear into most people when they're kind of progressing on to looking at different chords, because they require a lot of kind of, shall we say, strength in your fingers, I suppose. Well, it's probably not really the word, because we need to look at the technique, and then I'm going to quickly talk about how we can use these as an advantage. They're not always my favourite chord to go to by any means, but they're certainly a chord that I know I can get the correct chord almost instantly from just using two simple shapes, or four if you include the minor versions, but we'll just class it as two, basically anywhere on the neck. So let's look at the basic first bar chord, and this is kind of what I'd consider your E for echo shape bar chord. So we start, it's basically making this E major shape, but we're actually swapping our fingers and we're actually basically moving them along each, so this first finger comes off, and then second finger takes place on the G string, and your third and fourth finger take place on the A and the D string respectively. Okay, so we're going to just move this along a fret and we're going to make an F chord, and by doing so we've just taken that shape, moved it there, and we've added our first finger on the first fret, okay? And when we've got that shape, we want that bar, basically, your first finger acts as a bar, hence the name. Okay? Okay, right. And then thumb on the back, basically in the middle of the chord. Mine leans a little bit, kind of pinching towards the finger to give that first finger just a bit of strength, and they're basically gripping between your first and your first finger and your thumb. Okay, so it will be tricky at first. Don't worry about that. What you've got to do as well is make sure that that finger is as close to that fret as you can, just not creeping over it. And then if we also consider the position, move your hand so you can get as kind of a straight line as possible. So you might need to tuck your elbow in a little bit, depending where it is. I mean, technically you should probably have it out here, but if that hurts to start with, just bring it in. It's all about getting that nice clean sound coming through. Okay, so go for each string, and if you've got a buzz, in fact I've got a buzz there, it's on my bottom string, so I just adjust my finger position. Okay, and then I noticed I had one on the B, so okay, and you just keep going through that process until it feels comfortable. Now it might start hurting, especially in this part of your hand. Stop for a bit, because you've just got to let that muscle build up. When you do feel confident about that chord though, just kind of press it, and you'll notice that it just meets the strings. And this can be advantageous when we're playing some rhythm, because we can get some really cool rhythm sounds out of it. Bo Diddley had this great rhythm that went like this. And all I'm doing there is just pressing on that left on my chord hand, basically, just getting that kind of clipped string sound. So just practice going. All I'm doing is releasing the pressure. My fingers are staying in the same place. I'm just releasing the pressure. Okay, and then the next one we're going to do is the A-shape one. So same as before, make that A shape, but obviously we're going to switch fingers. And then we're going to move it and put our first finger there. And obviously we don't have to worry about this bottom E really, because we wouldn't normally play that when we're playing an A chord. But the finger's still going to go over that, it's just out of good habit, because it will build up that strength. And then go from the A string down. Great, I got a bit of a buzz there. Great. And just same as before, just work on building those chords up. Now, and of course you can do the minor version of this, which you might have already done if we've looked at a B minor chord. Now, this leads us on to the kind of use of bar chords, and not only sonically with like that rhythmic thing we've looked at, they've got a very chunky sound, but actually they're very useful if you're maybe playing a song, you're working out a song, and you've got some really weird chords in there. By that I mean you could have, for example, a G sharp minor. Okay? Playing that in an open position is going to be quite tricky. So you might choose that's the path you want to go down, and you might want to just focus on that open position, and that's absolutely fine, and that's great. But this is a quick way to just be able to kind of build that song structure from just picking out the bar chords. And I use basically the first finger's key on this in both that E position that we've looked at, well, E shape that we've looked at, and the A shape as well. And basically what happens is if we follow our notes along on the E string, we start with open E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Well, in fact, we've got to the A, so let's just concentrate on those first 5 for there. And basically, if we play that E shape, whatever note is on the barred bottom E is the chord we're going to play. So E, open, obviously. F, you're getting a full F chord there. F sharp major chord. G, G sharp major, A. Excellent. You see how that works now. So, and you need to find the minor version of it. F sharp minor comes up quite a bit in songs in the key of A and D. So basically, instead of, you basically just go, well, there's E, and then you go, well, play an E minor, but play it as if the bar, so we've taken this finger off. And then you go, well, that's an F minor, because it's just gone up 1, but we need an F sharp, so let's just go up 1 more. And there you go, there's your F sharp minor. So, yeah. There you go, F sharp minor to A. Just quite as simple as that. So there is your F sharp minor. And then, for example, you know, we've looked at a B minor. That's basically just that A minor shape, just moved up 2 frets. So if you basically think of your finger as the capo, that leads you up. So let's just, we've done that for the bottom E. Let's look at doing that for the A. So you start at the A, and then go first fret on the A. Can you tell me what that is? A sharp, yeah. Then B, then C, then C sharp, then D, and then we go 2 more, D sharp, and then E. So let's put that example. We've done the B minor there. Let's say I just wanted a C sharp major. Then basically we go, well, let's make that. So A, B, C, and sorry, I've done that wrong. A sharp, B, then C, and then we get to C sharp major. So do you see the use in basically being able to quickly find where those chords are? They might not be the perfect chord, but it's certainly a great way to just think about it. And all you need to do is think about your first finger and start with E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and then start, then you can move down, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, and then you can make that shape, and you can get those chords. Think of it like this: E, play the E shape, and that gets you the chord. A string, play the A shape, that gets you the chord. Hope that helps. I know it can be a bit confusing. I'll send out a chart so you can just take another look at it and just help remember that. But it means that if you need to play any of those kind of weird chords, you can easily think of that little formula, that little shortcut, and you can find those chords. Like I say, they might not be for everyone. You might find those bar chords really tricky, completely understandable. But this is just a great way to find those chords if you need them. Excellent. Happy playing. Any questions, give me a shout. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks.